What's up, everyone? It is your favorite lead generation team here, Nico, Justine, and Larissa, introducing episode 9. It's can you guys believe it's been like 9 episodes? It's kind of crazy to think about, right?
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
Yeah.
No, but in all good things, and like we've always done, Justine, what are we talking about on this fine afternoon, morning thing that we have going?
So last week we talked about offer optimization, and we kind of mentioned in there how packaging your services kind of plays into that, and it's a big part of it. So I kind of wanted to dedicate a whole episode to what goes into packaging your services, how to do it, like what questions you need to ask, what you need to look into, how to use your data in packaging your services, just kind of everything about that. So that is the topic for this week. I kind of want to start
Awesome.
off with like why this is important. So like why should we care about this topic?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And just a note, I'm going to assume that you've already listened to our niche podcast, right? A podcast about finding your niche. Then the last episode, episode 8, about the actual like offer and how to make a compelling offer. And if you haven't, please, you'll still benefit a lot from this. And plus, you'll be hearing my amazing voice. But to get the full experience and full value out of this, I would definitely recommend checking those 2 episodes out before. So, why is packaging your product in a compelling way important? Well, why would you, frankly, like buy anything, right? Let's say that you're going out to buy cereal, right? And the bag has a little hole chewed in it, and like the colors are a little faded, and that fancy expiration date says 2009. You'd be less likely to buy that cereal, even if it's the last one on the shelf. You might be like, you know what? I'm an oatmeal guy today. I'm not going to go with that box, right? So I use that illustration to say you can have an amazing offer, right? Really, really proven in the marketplace with a compelling niche that you're going after. But if it's not packaged and put in a nice way, it's very hard to sell something. You're going to sell it, right? Assuming that you know your niche and solution. But if you don't have a service packaged in a compelling way, it's going to fall on more deaf ears than I would like it to do. Like honestly, I want you to make a lot of money, right, and help a lot of people. And if it's not put in a nice way, you're not going to do that. And as we go through, that illustration will become a lot more clear on, a nice fancy cereal box, packaged well, great messaging and all that, versus the ugly chewed up one by a little rat, unless it's the rat from Ratatouille. But yeah, hopefully that kind of answers your question there.
Yeah, so to kind of just add on to that a little bit, like why service packaging is so important is it's really like the last mile of lead gen. Typically, you've done all this work already getting people into your funnel, warming them up, having conversations with them, figuring out if they're a good fit for you, analyzing your niche, analyzing your messaging, analyzing your data, all of these things that go into getting somebody into your pipeline in the first place. And then you want to make sure you have a really great package and offer for them. It also helps you make sure you're pricing your services to be able to like profit as much as possible. And it really just, like I said, it's the last mile. It's the last thing a lot of people need to see before they sign on the dotted line and give you their money, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've teased you, right, on like what that looks like what is packaging, right? um Really, it's a way to illustrate kind of everything in a nice cohesive way. So for instance, in our niche and offer optimization podcast, we're talking about making a compelling statement, right? Like so good that like it feels like what you're doing is just for this person. So we're helping a company right now that got onboarded this week, and they are serving like, can't disclose too much there. They're basically serving technology-based companies, right? I can't go specifically in there, but as we're going through and defining their niche and offer, we're trying to get that packaging statement clear, right? And an offer offer statement and a packaging statement are very similar. So in the offer optimization episode, we're talking about like what is that thing, right? What service, what's the outcome that you're painting? A package one is the same thing, but it goes a little bit further into the details, right? On, okay, we have our offer. So for Boundless Media, it is helping marketing agencies close 2 to 4 new clients, right? Without spamming messages or spending a fortune on ads, right? That's the kind of the statement that we go with. In the offer optimization, we're talking about, we do that through optimizing their offer, personalized lead gen, closing sales. We talked about that content. Now the packaging, like putting it all in a cohesive way, basically says, okay, this niche, like let's get a little bit more specific, right? So even within marketing agencies, how can we get like the perfect niche in there? So the packaging statement can be around, helping 7-figure marketing agency scale to 8 figures, right? So we're just getting a little bit more specific with that, and then including kind of the benefits of this. So in the offer statement, we went through personalized outreach, SDR, all that fun stuff, but we really want to bring that home with like what's it going to take to get those 2 to 4 new clients. And this is specifically for Boundless's offer, your offer, whether it's SEO, PPC, maybe do some type of CRO services, whatever that is, getting the messaging super clear with that relevant case studies, with outlining your process, really answering all those questions, like Larissa said, that will get a company to say, okay, this kind of sounds interesting and up my alley, to saying, wow, I need to do this. If I don't, I'm going to be missing out. So again, I'm happy to deconstruct a lot in there, but really it's how do we get that person to say yes? And if you can do that in a scalable way, great. I would recommend those. But if you can't, then there are ways to do that through non-scalable methods that we can talk about.
So an offer is really a high level overview of what somebody will get out of working with you. So your offer is really outcome based. Your package is outlining how you accomplish that, really, as well as any bonuses or extras you may throw in. So Nico, tell us about bonuses and extras. How do we put together a package? Like, where do we even start?
Yeah, absolutely. So really take your core offering, right? So when we were doing this exercise, we were like, oh, we do all this like lead gen stuff and like content and like everything under the moon. And when we're talking to clients during our market research, it turns out that they don't really care about that. They care about the core offering, which is personalized outbound to get 2 to 4 quality leads, right? That's what they really care about. Now the bonus stack and the kind of, to a ulterior point, right? What do they get on top of that? What are those benefits and what problems are you going to solve that they might not even know about? That's what we wanted to address. So when we're going through our own bonus stack, we had a couple of things that people would struggle with, which was like updating their CRM, like we talked about, right? Actually, once you have a client, right, when they want to sign, helping or getting a fluid motion into getting a deal and closing it, or getting a deal closed to actually onboarding that client. So what we wanted to do was take the core offering, the personalized outbound, right, and then break it into bonuses, things that we will be helping to achieve the goal of 2 to 4 new clients, right? So for us, that was that CRM, like actually updating CRMs, setting those appointments. So those are 2 different bonuses. The SOP. So we spent a long time, and Larissa can probably attest to the amount of time we spent on building our own onboarding system and SOPs related to that. That's something that we didn't think agencies struggled with. We're like, oh, they're agencies. They already have a proven process. But through talking to our niche and understanding their problems with actually getting to the goal, right? The goal is clear, new clients. But getting to them and doing it successfully, there were pitfalls. And one of those was the onboarding process. So we actually wanted to include that as a bonus in. And this helps with the packaging, because if you could build your solution, right, and solving a specific pain point, and then solving problems on top of that they don't even think they need, you're going to stand out from the competition. So yes, we're not just going to help you get a new client, right? We're going to help you onboard them. That's a huge, huge competitive advantage. So let's say that you, just because SEO and PPC is on my mind, yes, it's amazing that you can help drive amazing warm traffic to a website. But if you can also help them close and build a funnel to close that hot lead into a paying client, that's more valuable than sending hot traffic there. And if you can focus on, oh, there are 10% of clients that then fall off, or leads that fall off, like focusing on a clear acquisition strategy to retarget them, that's even better. So going off on many tangents to say, like, your prospects have a lot of problems that they might not even know about that will hinder them from getting a successful outcome, which typically is increase cash. I know it blew our socks away, right? It's crazy.
You did, definitely. I have a question. So is packaging your services something that you do once when you are starting your businesses and you're just done with, or is it something that's constantly evolving? Because I feel like for us, it's kind of constantly evolving. Can you kind of talk about that and, how to maybe repackage your services?
Justine, you're spoiling it. Everyone's supposed to just think that we got it right the first time back in 2019. But no, you're absolutely right. This is a constantly evolving process. It goes back to, it kind of goes back to the niche, right? And product market fit. Like, your business is going to go through ebbs and flows, and especially with market changes, right? A lot of the businesses that we know of they're really bullish on in-person events pre-COVID, and not so much nowadays, right? So maybe something like that's going to happen, or a new solution or platform like TikTok is going to get big, right? You can't predict what those channels or those changes will be. So this is a constantly evolving process. Now it's going to be iterative once you get it right. Like, when we first started, we were content marketing, which is very different from what we do today with client acquisition. But it's always been marketing focused, right? We haven't gone from like a marketing agency to building platforms.
Yeah, we're not a SaaS platform.
Yeah.
Yet, we'll see.
Wink, wink at what Boundless's future will hold. But truth be told, like, you're going to have to iterate. And a problem that you solved a year ago might not be a problem today. I always, it's funny to think about, but like, at one point, it would cost you tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars to build a site because no one knew how to build websites. Now you could hypothetically launch a site within 15, 20 minutes on Wix, right? So not saying that that's always the best thing, but there are going to be changes and you have to adapt to what those changes are. So it went from no one knowing how to make websites to a lot of people doing. Now I have a lot of websites. Now there's different problems that you're solving. So maybe it's not building a website, but optimizing it or driving the right traffic to it or making sure that your domains don't go into spam because of mass market outbound, whatever that is. It's constantly changing and evolving.
Yeah. And kind of to that point, like, no matter what business you're in, your clients' problems will likely be evolving and you need to be evolving with them. So really, like, Nico's website example is really great because it's super easy to build a website now. Like, that's not what you need help with. If you're a web developer and you charge that much to build a website, that doesn't mean that's a bad price to build a website, but it just means you have to package it a little bit differently to be able to charge that rate, because you're now competing with all of these different, like, Wix, Shopify, all of these like relatively inexpensive website builders that can build you a pretty decent website and get you pretty much where you need to go. But if you are selling websites, and let's say you want to sell it for 10K, you need to package your services in such a way that you can outcompete the low cost options, the mid cost options, and even the high cost options. Like 10K for a website is on the higher side, absolutely, depending on the complexity of it. But those are things you need to consider, right? Is like, how do you not necessarily compete with the rest of the people in your niche? How do you create a whole like product category almost for yourself? Like you're offering all this stuff. Your package includes so much stuff or things that are so valuable that somebody feels legitimately like stupid for not taking you up on it. And
Yeah,
that's what we want to get at with our packaging.
it's exactly that. It's you know, in a nicer way to phrase that, Larissa. I like getting straight to the point, but you want to hedge your bet of success, right? So like if in the case of us, right, when we at one point we relied on clients to give us targets, right? We said, hey, we'll run your campaigns, you just tell us who to go after. And inevitably there were problems there. So like we would get wrong targets, we would not get data at all, and then our process would break down and we'd be unsuccessful for our clients. We don't do that anymore, right? So we include that. And if you want to do that, then it's better for you to potentially do this yourself or go with a DIY option. So again, it's what do you need to do to really achieve the outcome, right? If there are even the smallest factors, like, I don't know, responding to leads who go, we lost a deal a couple of weeks ago. We'll be very transparent, right? We lost a deal because I didn't check our intake forms on our website because we're moving to a different platform. And it was because we just didn't have anyone focused there. If we had, right, which we're going to kind of move into having someone check our live chat every day, then we could have gotten a pretty hefty deal. Now we didn't, and that's a lesson we're going to learn. But like, if you are requiring a client to potentially do something, could you offer doing that, which will probably increase the cost? Yes, but the outcomes will also increase from that. Absolutely. That's what we're trying to say with the packaging, right? It's like, it's truly solving the problem without the client having to worry about anything. Or at least that's how we think about
it. So let's think about it from like a very, very high level. Let's kind of go through some steps about how to package your service. The first thing, you want to pick whatever service it is and make sure you know exactly like the time involved in that, the cost associated with it, all of those types of things. List out literally every single step having to go into producing that outcome for your client. Every single step you do, and start there. Like start having a complete list of like, for us to be successful as a lead gen agency, we need to be on top of all of our leads, which means we have updated CRMs. That's really important to us. So for us, it was easy to look at like, okay, we're doing this anyway. We'll include it in our packaging as like, okay, we're going to keep the CRM updated. Like we're making sure that that's something clients know we're doing as a bonus. So that's a good place to start, is list out all of the items you're doing, anything that's incredibly valuable, include as a bonus onto your package already.
Absolutely. Yeah, once you have that part done, then you can start looking at, okay, what's the 80-20 rule? What's 20% of what I can offer that will help them get 80% of the way there? There's a lot of things that we do, like reporting, which I think is very important. But if you look at our marketplace, like our marketplace didn't really care about the reporting. They cared about the end results. They like to have that, but it's in the 80%, right? That doesn't achieve the 80%, right? That doesn't achieve the outcome. So you want to figure out what is that 20% of things that you can add or mention that will help them get to the 80%. So that's probably the next thing there. And the best way to do that, truth be told, is user interviews. Larissa will always reminds me of all the, 3 months that I spent interviewing clients and failing and notes and spending a lot of money on that. But it was so important for us to actually understand what people care about. And once you know that, then, you're just one step closer to having something that the market just does not offer.
Yeah. So once you've gone through and you've decided of your list of all the things you're doing and all the things that are worth doing to help get your client the outcome you're selling them. So once you have all of those things listed out, put a price to all of them. Go through and say, for me to do this one thing alone, it would cost X amount of dollars. So like for us to keep a CRM updated, it costs, I don't know how much that actually would cost off the top of my head, but it's on our package list. So you want to go through and list out all of those things, put a value to them. Then you can add all that up and say, okay, this is the value of what you're getting it for. Maybe we're not selling it for that price, but that's a very enticing number for us to be like, for only $5,000, you're getting $10,000 worth of services. Like that makes it far more enticing once we've gone through and determined, again, all the things that are actually important for a prospect to see, to be able to get over that, over whatever hump they need to get over to like cross the dotted line and give you a check. That's what you want to make sure all that stuff is listed out. All the prices are determined for every single one of those services and make it an enticing package. So Nico, how would we, let's say, package a good example? I guess we could just go with the website example. How would you package, let's say, a website example to get a prospect into a client?
Yeah, absolutely. So you have to think about all the things that goes into the client acquisition for a website, right? So there's first the on-page experience, right? Like once someone lands on a website, whether it's a landing page or a dedicated part on the website or the website as a whole, what is that? So your first offer could be website optimization or landing page optimization, right? And you can assign a number, right, on how much that would cost, maybe $5,000 to really get a, look at what the market's charging, right? That's a great example. You can go to Upwork or Fiverr or even pay per hour to calculate how long that would take. Someone else that's experienced. Then you could put a price to that. Then that could be bonus one. Bonus two could be tracking. Right. So a lot of people don't have the right tracking mechanisms on their website. And what's the old quote? Like you can only measure what you can track. So maybe the second bonus is the tracking involved with that. The third one could potentially be once someone lands on the site, retargeting them. So the process of like actually running paid advertising against people who came to the website. Right. So that could be included. Fourth could be cart optimization. Maybe they have a e-com store or technology based process or a way to buy the service directly on there. Are you helping them kind of optimize that part? And then lastly, once someone pays, what does it look like? Do they get a helpful video of next steps? Are they automatically sent a document? Are they just started whatever that product is? Those are the ways that you can help make it compelling. So if this was super helpful for you, please let us know. Truth be told, like the package is probably the last thing I would worry about. I would first focus on the niche, getting very clear who you serve, building a compelling offer to solve a specific solution, and then focus on what bonuses and content can I share throughout the process to really make it enticing that this is a company that I want to work with, right? So that's the biggest things that we have. Your feedback has been very, very helpful as we've been building out the podcast and content related to that. So thank you to everyone that's contacted us with ideas and suggestions. We're always open to hearing more. But again, one quick word from our sponsor before we close this out. If you are an agency and you're struggling with finding and closing high quality clients, look no further than boundlessmedia.com. Or actually getboundlessmedia.com. One day we'll have the money for boundlessmedia.com. Or email me at nico@getboundlessmedia.com. And if you have any problem with kind of building up the right package, offer, finding a niche, we have a ton of content coming out on our new site, TBD very soon. And always open to new suggestions, ideas, and team. Any last minute comments before we sign off?
Just make sure you have your offers optimized and your packages put together to help get people over that final mile. I mean, good luck.
Right? Yes, getting paid is important. So please stay tuned. We're gonna have a very special episode number 10 coming out next week, and we really appreciate everyone here. Again, if you have any questions or you're struggling with this, that's why we are here as an agency to help you out. But you guys have a great rest of your day. Enjoy, and talk to you very soon. Peace.